Can't have two eyes on
No,
both.
it's just like you got. I mean, I can, but you got a contract. You got a contract.
Back in the day, we had loads of high-quality comedy, depending on which side of the pond's type of humour you preferred. The last good ones were things like Tropic Thunder, or in the UK, Black Books, Blackadder, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, Coupling, and the IT Crowd. Comedy is a very personal taste. You might like American humour, British humour, or both. But the interesting thing is how they both died, and around the same time. And the reason is because of people like this, jealous, envious, spiteful people who want to come up with what you can and can't say, what you can and can't joke about, and the tests that you have to do before you even say a word. Why? Because Karen may not like it.
Just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right.
No, she wants to decide which kind of identities are allowed to make a joke, or what you're even allowed to say. And it's all dressed up as, I'm doing it because I'm more virtuous than you. But really, it's the same as anything in the entertainment industry. It's always self-interest. We have recently seen this at the Golden Globes itself. Ricky Gervais won again after he went on stage and attacked half the audience previously.
If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you?
That is not a guy who set himself up for success with that audience. And yet, even so, he still won. Which is kind of weird in itself, right? That Ricky Gervais, a guy who's been around for decades, is still winning all of the awards? Why aren't there new, younger people who are more in touch with modern culture and the problems with modern culture who are winning all of these awards, pushing the boundaries like he does? Why has comedy been stuck in the same kind of malaise as the rest of the entertainment industry? And how come when this guy comes out and wins an award, even the DEI hire who comes out to present it?
Thank you, thank you.
Despite moving like a character on Thunderbirds.
Thank you, thank you.
Still wants to get her oar in about what you're allowed to say, how much you're allowed to say.
There's some people pissed off that a queer black woman is up here doing the job of two mediocre white guys.
Instantly brought up identity, because chip on her shoulder, she knows that's why she got the job. Has to put other people down for their identity, because if I can drag them down, I might be able to take some of their work. And it's interesting that she's insulting people who are there getting an award, who by definition are better than her at her own job, because they're nominated and she isn't. Oh, I'm doing their job. Yes, every part except being funny. Now, her first target was Bill Maher.
Bill Maher, you give us so much, but I would love a little less.
The reaction he gave has prompted comments about he's told people to take a joke and he can't do that. Or he looks unamused as Wanda Sykes jokingly pokes fun at him. But I don't think he was unamused as it wasn't funny and it came out of nowhere. What a human would read on his face is confusion. It's like, why are you what is this supposed to mean?
Just try less.
You're telling me to do less. What she's essentially saying is you should censor yourself. You should shut up. You should do less work. Why? Because then I would have a space. Then there'd be a space for less talented people, for more incompetent people. And I mean, you're only competing with Bill Maher. If you can't beat Bill Maher in a competition of wit, you shouldn't be a comedian, let alone presenting an award. The jokes that she had was just for him. She was far more kinder to everyone else.
Kevin, you know I love you. Kumail, I love that you...
Probably because they were her preferred identity groups. But then she got to Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais, I love you for not being here.
Yeah, she's pissed off because he's actually funny. And despite him being funny, despite him winning that award, she doesn't like him saying it. She's like, no, you should not be making jokes about these topics. How dare you? So she essentially accuses him of blasphemy.
I get to accept the award on your behalf, and you're gonna thank God.
No, not that bit. I mean the second bit. I suppose the atheism is actual blasphemy. And the second one is more interesting, because the first is religious blasphemy. The second is social. You're going against the dominant social order. You can't do that. You can't be poking fun at my sacred cow.
And the trans community,
says the cow. She wants to set up rules and regulations. Bill Maher should do less work. Ricky Gervais should have all these topics shut down for him. Topics which have made him money, won him accolades. She wants him to stop doing what works, what the audience wants.
I always wanted to be honest. I always wanted to be real. I say it too much as well. I say, this is true, because it's important. It's not funny if it's not true. It's funny because it's true in a way.
Comedy is not only a way to deal with horrific situations, something that Ricky actually says himself in the same interview.
What's the point in jokes? What's the point in having you if you can't laugh at the most terrible things in the world?
But it's also a way of testing the men around you to make sure that they're stable and sturdy enough to go into battle with you.
Try and be as funny on stage as you are in the pub with your mates. And that's really hard to do. Because you don't
almost impossible.
Because you don't have to apologise to your mates.
If you can't take a joke, I can't trust you not to run away. But also to diffuse social situations without ending in violence. People don't generally laugh on their own. It's a reflexive and social signal to other people. It's a way of going, I know this is an attack. I know this is a stressful situation, but don't worry, I'm fine with it, I agree with it, and I'm not going to punch you in the face. That's actually the theory that explains understands why we laugh when we get tickled. This is a violent assault, but I'm not going to defend myself. That's why men evolved these instincts. It's why they're always laughing and joking with their friends. If a man's not making dodgy jokes with you, he's probably not your friend.
I'd love to play traitors with all men. I love it. But can we film it? Don't film it. I want to say some pretty horrendous things.
I know. But for any of these situations to work, it has to be true. There has to be some recognizable core there. This is why there is no such thing as woke comedy. Their comedy is all about believing what you're supposed to believe, which is a fantasy. It completely goes against everything we know about the world. But you have to pretend you like it. You have to pretend you agree with it. And as such, it can never be funny. And by telling everyone that I can't joke about the thing that everyone knows to be a lie, you make it even funnier. This is why they despise comedy so much. It is their kryptonite because the moment a person laughs, which is a reflex, not a conscious action, every single person knows that it doesn't matter what you purport to believe, the joke was true.
The superpower in comedy is to really not give a I think it's like, if you're able to grab hold of not giving a
that's right.
It's amazing.
All comedians know this. Non-comedians kind of recognize this as true instinctually. So what happens if you're a low talent, low IQ individual that just can't compete with all those men at the top of the industry? Well, you do the same thing that you've always done. Silence, censor, sabotage. It's exactly the same tactics you do with the ideology. You use people's good morals against them. You make them feel like they're doing something awful to you, so that you can exploit them. This isn't the act of a virtuous person. This isn't the act of a victim. These are self-interested predators taking advantage of their betters. I think that's what underlies all of this. You undermine other people. You come up with regulations and straitjackets for them to be in. You want them to compete in the open market with weights on them in a straitjacket.
I'm more conscious of bad faith takes. That's been accentuated in the last few years. Like, I don't think I've done a press interview for like 5 years because I don't trust them.
Well, forming the rules to exclude you. So you can say anything and joke about anything. You can have an advantage and do better in your career that you would not be able to perform in unless you were raised up to places you couldn't earn. And that's what causes the competency crisis. That's what destroyed Hollywood entertainment. But in comedy, it's even more severe, because in comedy you have to be truthful, you have to be honest. You have to say the things that everyone else is thinking and knows and understands to be recognizably true, but they daren't say for one reason or another. And if you come along and you ban all the true topics, if you make them blasphemy worthy of firing, well, now all the comedians are worried about getting fired. They're all having to self-censor all the time. And self-censoring is the death of comedy.
I made the decision, do I pander to the 200 egos in the room, the most beautiful, wealthiest, privileged people on the planet, or the 200 million people watching at home in their pants who aren't winning an award, who aren't millionaires? Yeah. It was a no-brainer, right?
And it's interesting because the mechanics of woke comedy fail for the same reason as Hollywood. While it purports to be virtuous and caring about other people, it's actually very selfish. It's all about the person saying it and what they can personally get out of it. Whereas comedy should be about the audience. Hollywood should be about the audience. What do the audience want to see? What values do the audience want in a movie? What topics do the audience want to see discussed?
Their job isn't acting anymore. It's going to the gym twice a day and taking steroids. Have we got an award for most ripped junkie?
The topics shouldn't be created by the comedians. It's a case of give the audience what they want. But the Californian, Portland style of comedy, the clapter of London, that always comes from within, or whatever the institution is currently panicked about. We saw this at the Golden Globes. A lot of people started wearing pins to signal how good a person they were.
Yes, of course, this is for the mother who was murdered.
She went to an awards show to present an award, but no, I've got a virtue signal about how I'm a good person. Now give me that job after you fired Ricky Gervais. My favourite one of these was actually Mark Ruffalo.
This is for the people in the United States who are terrorized and scared today. I know I'm one of them.
If he wasn't an actor, he'd be a used car salesman winding back the mileometer with a drill.
Mark, why do you feel that this platform is still useful to spread a message like this?
The best bit about this is he was so off his game. He was too honest.
I want to be here to celebrate, and I am here to celebrate, and I'm proud to have a Golden Globe nomination.
He clearly realizes he's put his foot in it. He's like, oh no, I've just been honest. I'm actually here for the party and the celebration and to have a good time. But I'm supposed to be virtue signaling, and then he just says the truth.
I don't know how I could be quiet, and I'm feeling a little sick, so it's hard to BS right now.
Oh yeah, sorry, that was all propaganda. I'm not on the ball enough to come up with a lie fast enough, sorry. I may have said something truthful there. I actually think that Bill Maher had the best response to this.
Wanda Sykes also wearing a Be Good pin, trying to use this platform for activism. Do you feel that's effective or no?
Oh, come on. We're just here for show business today. Shouldn't have happened, but I don't need to wear a pin about it.
But yeah, this isn't the time or the place. I don't really care what you think. Just shut up. Go and present or collect your awards, or do what Snoop Dogg did?
But the real winner...
The guy could barely stand up on stage.
I'm high as a... Y'all had me here too damn long.
That's why, if you listen to what Rosie Jones suggests, here's a clip of her comedy.
No, my name is Rosie.
I think we've seen enough. She's sick of privileged... I don't know why we're using slurs on people. That should have got you banned from television as it is. I don't need you dropping the equivalent of N-bombs, thanks love, and making inappropriate jokes. Of course, she's the person that defines appropriate. It's like when you ask someone when will they stop being oppressed, they're always like, don't worry, I'll be the one that tells you that. Now keep giving me some money. I want the free stuff. She's like, to those boys, I'd just say, with respect, shut up. Because if they shut up and stop doing comedy, maybe someone will hire me. Despite the fact that my comedy would have to be listened to on 5x speed just so the audience doesn't top themselves. Miss Jones graciously provides us her expert advice. Yes, experts in filling out those checkboxes. She's like, oh, she's a 5 for 1. No wonder the BBC loves it. It was to tell a joke responsibly. What a wonderful phrase. It sounds like a warning on a bottle of alcohol. Please joke responsibly. Laugh in moderation. The medical officer recommends you do not exceed more than 14 smiles a week. Remember, humour can kill. So Miss Jones says before you tell a joke, you need to analyse it. That comes down to 3 things. First, who are you? Notice how immediately it's gone internal. Can't abstract, understand any other thing in the universe. Can't virtualize somebody else's perspective. It's all about me. Do you have the lived experience or experience close to you? It's still about me. Now, I consider it one of the great glories of God that I never needed to know who this wench was before, let alone why I should give the smallest toss about her opinion about what I should do. And yet that doesn't stop her lording across the universe as the main player character. Firstly, you've got to be a narcissist. You're not permitted to make jokes at the expense of people who are different from you, which in her case would be everybody, but sure, that doesn't apply to her. Now, someone with greater than 15 IQ may have realised that she shouldn't be talking about Ricky Gervais and Jimmy Carr because, well, they're about as far from her as you can get. But I'm sure she's going to be an exception. Because if she can only comment on her lived experience, I don't know why she's commenting on things she can't comprehend. As the article says, are you only permitted to mock, say, Donald, if you yourself have been the president of the USA, or, in fact, Donald himself? Or does the rule not apply when it comes down to you? Then she says, what is your intention? Is it positive or negative? Are you punching up or down? Now, I think we can all agree that she is at the bottom of basically every category in life. So it's a rather coincidental rule, isn't it? She would put Ricky Gervais, Jimmy Carr, probably me, at the top of any privilege hierarchy, with her no doubt at the bottom. So she can make comments about everybody. Me? Nobody. Now, personally, I don't know why I should care about making jokes about her. Even if she gets really angry, what's she gonna do? All I have to do is walk into a muddy field. It's not like she can chase me. But also, if punching down comes down to a matter of privilege, how much more privilege can you possibly get than being uplifted far beyond your station into a position that you couldn't earn, all because of your identity groups? Getting free stuff, free gibs, bonuses just for existing. That seems like the height of privilege for me. If we can only punch up, then you should strap in, love, because I've got a few comments I could make. And the article says, hang on, what about all those well-off, middle-class, left-wing comedians who spent the past decade making fun of working-class Brexit voters, or rednecks? Again, I expect they're just like a special section of scenarios where the rules don't apply. And a final test is, why are you telling the joke? Are you asking a question to open up a conversation and make people think differently? Or are you simply saying it to be controversial? Is there a difference? If you're asking a question to make people think, doesn't that immediately imply being controversial? If you ask what everyone already agrees with, that's not controversial. Everything that happens on American Saturday Night TV isn't controversial. They're repeating the corporate line. They are passing down the latest patch to the NPCs that download it and just start repeating it without any thought. That's about as far from controversial as you can get. But it's also not making anyone think, is it? Comedy is by definition controversial, because it's saying the thing that everyone knows to be true that you're not allowed to say. Being controversial isn't a bad thing. It depends who you're controversial against. If you are the one saying the true thing while the dominant social order lies, well, the truth is the only thing that matters, not the social consensus. But he says, maybe my memory deceives me, but I could swear there was a time when comedians had another motion for telling jokes. To make people laugh. The idea of opening a conversation or making people think differently, that didn't occur. Where Bob Bunko said, I want to die like my father, peacefully in his sleep. not screaming and terrified like his passengers. He wasn't opening up a conversation. It was just meant to be a joke. And these days, his approach to comedy is no doubt considered hideously outdated. But I can think of one Monkhouse line whose modern progressive stand-ups could still use. People laughed when I said I wanted to be a comedian. Well, they're not laughing now. But the reason Ricky Gervais is still funny is because the traditional reason for comedy is still very important to him. He says it multiple times throughout the interview.
We can say what you want. Oh my God, that was the most exciting thing. No restrictions. You can say what you want.
He wants to talk without censorship, talk without a filter. He wants to be able to say whatever he wants to an audience which all agrees, all consents to do it. You don't need censorship with comedy because the audience is that filter. If they don't find it funny, you're a goner. They don't need to be told what they can hear. They will decide for themselves without even thinking about it because the laughter is a reflex. But this is well known. It's understood in comedy. And that's why the censorship, the rules that you can't talk about this, you're at the top of the pyramid and you can't make any jokes, but I'm at the bottom and I can say anything. It's an attempt to force the best people to be incapable of doing their job, all so that you can climb up past them and compete on an uneven playing field. It's the second generation DEI. We used to just lift people up and put them into positions they didn't deserve. But now they're in those positions and they have a platform that they didn't earn. Well, now they're bringing in all the rules, all the regulations to solidify their position there, to handicap everyone else, all so that they can maintain their position.
I think I've lost my nerve a bit and I have to dig in and go, come on, don't worry about it. Who cares?
Yeah.
I have to remind myself.
If the fear of offending people is getting to Ricky Gervais, it's getting to all comics. I've been to multiple stand-up shows over the last few months and every single one has mentioned it. You can see they tense up over certain jokes or like weigh the attitude of the audience or that people were a bit cautious of that one. I'm not going to go down that road. On an unrelated note, Ross Noble is amazing. He's touring the UK at the moment. Highly recommend. But people like Ricky Gervais, Jimmy Carr, Ross Noble, they've been grandfathered in. They've been around for decades. They've got their own fan bases. They can afford to rock the boat. But if you've got a job to lose, which is something that Ricky talks about with Romash.
Question is whether I've been able...
Absolutely. If you work for the BBC, you've got a job to lose.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. I've made sure that I don't work for anyone.
Right.
So I'm free.
Well, now you've got more on the line. That's how they get you. With the self-censorship, the rules are deliberately vague so that nobody knows where they stand. Nobody knows where they can go up to and try and push the boundary. Everyone's wondering and deciding for themselves to be more cautious than they should be. It's an excellent tactic if you're in power. You fill the language with landmines. You'll keep changing words that you can't say. Oh, this is the R word. And everyone goes, what's that? That was fine last week. You make all the landmines so vague and widespread that every single person will step on one at some point. But then, depending on their affiliation, whether they're a friend or a foe, you decide whether it detonates on them. You can cancel everybody, but you only do it to those that don't agree with you. It's insidious, it's passive-aggressive, it's a tactic of the weak, because it is the weak preying on the strong. It is the evil people using the good morals of their betters. You're hurting people now. Oh, I don't want to hurt people. That's the last thing I want to do. I just want to make people laugh. And the only solution to this is really just to tell them you don't care about them. It's to call them out on what they're doing. Every time they suggest it, it's the self-interest, it's the selfishness, it's the narcissism that's driving them. It's the fact that they're horrible people that's driving them. You can't take the moral high ground because you don't have any morals. But the people that are most affected by this are the ones that haven't already got the careers, aren't too big to not be cancelled, the ones that'll never get shown in the comedy clubs, the ones that'll never get their first chance on television or into the mainstream. They'll never get found. An agent won't touch them. You knock the ladder out at the bottom rung so nobody can become your competition. It's no different than what Peter Dinklage did with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Please don't cast 7 dwarfs in a new movie. That will make 7 potential actors my competition for all future roles. There isn't a virtue signal in sight, which isn't a covert play for money and power, status and attention. Now, Ricky Gervais does have a point when it comes to the free market.
You know, it's like anything else. You know, the cream floats to the top. You know, there might be 1,000 podcasts, but most people listen to 10 of them.
The problem is, what's happened now is it isn't a free market. There's people at the top which are suppressing everyone else. They're the ones enforcing the rules. And so their only choice was to go independent if they want to be funny, if they want to say what they need to say in order to do their job. And all it's doing is causing a competency crisis in some industries, like comedy is dead. But those same talented people, they didn't just evaporate. They went into other industries. They went independent. They started competing on their own. Even at the start of this interview, you can tell why Ricky Gervais was successful.
Why do you bother to do any promotional PR or podcast or anything like that? Because you don't need to, do you?
It's a good question. Why do I do anything? I think I should do something. I should do something. I'm talking about career, not just promotion of the thing. I'm thinking, why am I doing another tour?
It's like, no, you've got all the money in the world. Why do you still do things? It's like, I don't know. I just feel the need to. It's like, yes, it's that drive. It's that ambition. It's that need to work, despite having no reason to, that drove him forwards and made him successful. He was always going to keep trying. And as long as you do that and have talent, you'll eventually be successful somewhere. And in places like the Golden Globes or like in comedy, one of the ways that these industries can get fixed is by using comedy to point out the flaws, the regulations, the problems with the people there, until eventually those industries can get back to competence being the thing that matters, as they lose so much money and get humiliated enough to the point where they have no other choice, where they're left with their only option being, maybe we should start hiring the best person for the job again. The reason why people like Rosie always target certain demographics is because they know they can't compete with them, but it's about time they had to. Comedy has died over the last few years simply because of jealousy and greed, of people that never should have been in the industry, were uplifted enough to have a big enough platform to cause problems for other people. They couldn't compete with the best, so they destroyed them. They ruined the environment for anyone to be able to tell jokes, even if they do have any talent.
But I've got worse, right? In the end, I didn't care. Like when I started, I didn't care. What I said in an interview, what I said on stage, what I said on podcast, I didn't care. I didn't care what I put on DVD. I just put warts and all, tell the truth, just do it.
And the only way out of it is to recognize the bad faith and start making jokes about all of the sacred cows, because that is how you get rid of them. We are living in one of the craziest, wackiest times in recent history, where people will just lie to your face and tell you things that they know themselves aren't true. Being a more fertile time in history for comedians to thrive, and they decided at that very moment that they weren't allowed to comment on any of the topics at hand. But when Ricky Gervais was at the Golden Globes, he said he was willing to talk to him because of this.
I got a taste for it and I wasn't scared anymore and I wasn't doing anything wrong. I don't need to be there. I didn't need anyone in that room. I could see the first time I did it, there were people looking around thinking, is this okay to laugh? Because I need a job off that bloke he's just taking the piss out of. I don't need him. I don't need a producer or a director or a writer. I don't need them. I don't need an actor, right?
And that in itself is a lot like Hollywood. It used to be that Hollywood was the end goal for lots of careers. Everyone wanted to join the movie industry, so no one was willing to tell them the truth. And Hollywood still is a necessary requirement for some people. And as Ricky says...
Well, that's the thing about selling out. It's okay selling out if it definitely works. But because you don't know, all you can do is not sell out. Then it doesn't matter whether it works or not. Because at least you didn't sell out. At least you can live with yourself.
If, like, Sauron is hot, I feel like people will be like, I can fix him.
But for everyone else, the ones that don't need Hollywood, the reviews can be a lot more honest. And honesty, that's where the entertainment and the comedy lies. And where there's truth, there's power. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe. More videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.